Hi, this is Representative Muffy Davis with the Idaho State Legislative Update for the week of February 24th to February 28th, 2020. This was our 8th week here at the Idaho State Legislature in session. And again, not a boring week. In fact, a very, very busy week, lots going on. Kind of a challenging week and hard with the result of several different things. In our House Judiciary and Rules Committee, we heard long hours of emotional testimony against House Bill 465, which was a bill that would have criminalized doctors if they were to perform a gender affirmation treatment or surgery to minors. Now, thankfully, that bill was held in committee and did not proceed to the floor, but it was just a very negative. We heard an incredibly emotional testimony from many in the trans community about how powerful and how important this treatment is for helping youth to become okay with who they are, and the real condition of gender dysphoria, and multiple medical professionals as well as members of the faith community coming out against this bill. Over 4 hours of testimony, very powerful. And thankfully, the chair of the committee decided to hold that bill in committee and will not get a full hearing on the House floor. Unfortunately, there were two other bills that did not go through committees that I sat on. One was House Bill 500, which is labeled the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. And I passionately debated against this bill. What this bill aims to do is not allow any female trans high school or collegiate athlete to participate in sports here in Idaho, or in team sports in Idaho. And I was so adamant against this. First of all, I believe it's very discriminatory, unconstitutional, and hateful towards a whole group of already challenged and marginalized people. But on the other side is that there is already currently a policy in place that we have here in Idaho, which states that if a female trans athlete wants to participate in sports, they just need to have been on hormone treatment therapy for a full year and have been going with a doctor and undergoing that therapy. And that is the status quo right now for international elite level as well as national, the NCAA standard. That is the protocol for allowing female trans athletes to participate in sport. And I believe this is not a problem that we have in Idaho. I, as a person that benefited from a movement, the Paralympic movement, and know how important it is to have a place, to have the ability to be a part and to participate, I was adamantly opposed to this bill. I definitely think that it will be challenged in court, and I think it is wrong message to be sending out to our trans community. This is a community that already has issues and challenges. I can guarantee you there is no athlete out there that decides that to be successful in athletes, they're going to go under trans and become a trans athlete and change their gender in order to be successful in sports. That's just not the way it happens. And this is just a harmful, hurtful bill. I wanted to work with the sponsor on potentially creating a bill because this is definitely new and emerging technology at the international level, but it is not something that we at all are seeing here in Idaho. And it's now off to the Senate, so hopefully they will be able to stop that there and stop this unconstitutional and discriminatory and painful bill for many of our communities. There was another bill also that passed out of committee, House Bill 509, which again is unconstitutional and goes directly against a district court order that says that people are not allowed to change their gender on their birth certificates. And this was challenged in court a couple of years ago. We had a policy through the Department of Health and Welfare. It was challenged, and the court upheld that was unconstitutional and we could not do it. And yet our legislature doesn't seem to care too much about, or some people in the legislature don't care about what is and what isn't constitutional, and keep bringing up these bills that again are discriminatory and hurtful against populations that are already struggling and challenged in our society. So unfortunately, that did pass also the House and is going over to the Senate, but hopefully we will not be passing an unconstitutional law, and that will be challenged in court, that will cost Idaho taxpayers millions of dollars. It's frustrating to me this last week in the legislature that we are spending so much time on these discriminatory, unconstitutional bills that are being brought forward, and not spending time on the really important bills that our constituents and the people of Idaho need. Our transportation system, our infrastructure is seriously neglected, underfunded. Our education system, we still don't have an educational funding formula. There are still many questions about that, how that is going to proceed. And yet we spend all this time arguing and debating bills that really we shouldn't be wasting our time with. They're unconstitutional, they're hurtful, they're discriminatory, and will cost Idahoans, taxpayers, many millions of dollars to defend in court if passed. So it's just that was one of the frustrating aspects of this week. But on a positive note, we did end up passing the next rung of the healthcare ladder, House Bill 523, I believe 523. I'm not 100% sure on that number. We just passed it from the House Friday. And that is the next rung for the veterans teachers ladder, career ladder. And so we'll increase their funding. And that was a real positive. It had a lot of support. So that was a good bill that passed out of the House and is going to the Senate, as well as House Bill 515, which is the Idaho Patient Care Act, which I believe is a really positive piece of legislation. This was brought after the owner of Melaleuca, Frank Vandersloot, had discovered one of his employees had been in collections, medical debt collections, and from $100 bill or so had risen up to multiple thousands of dollars in collections. And so he got involved, put a lot of money into behind this, and ended up getting a pretty good piece of legislation that we passed out of our House committee, or House floor, actually. And that is good. What this bill will do is that will say within 45 days, providers have to bill insurance, and within 60 days, patients need to be getting a summarized bill from those providers of everyone that provided service and what those bills should be, so that you are more aware. And so this is for patients. It also, though, helps protect patients if for whatever reason you get into collections. It limits the amount of money that attorneys can collect in medical debt collections. So that is off to the Senate. I think it's a positive bill and look forward to hopefully seeing that pass. Still lots more coming. We worked long hours this week. The goal is to break by March 20th to sine die. So that gives us 3 more weeks. We will see if we are able to stick to that, or if we are staying in a couple more weeks to get all the work done. But again, as always, it is an honor to serve you in the state legislature. It is, I really seriously hold it close to my heart, the trust you place in me to be there, to be your voice, and to represent my constituents. So please keep in touch, reach out, let me know when you have concerns or ideas and thoughts that you want me to convey there at the state legislature. And with that, I just want to say thanks so much. Sorry we're getting a little longer, but so much is going on each week that I want to try and update you on at least a few of the key passionate things that I'm really passionate about. But with that, thank you so much and have a terrific week. I'll talk to you next week.